what I found limited with Substance Painter Dynamic Brush was, well, it used particles, not really objects to paint. For example, the guns. So I was thinking, why hasn't that been done? Why haven't there been any, like, for example, carpet object just falling down on a gun, and that will affect the worn areas, like here, 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 and here. And so I was like, why not just use a carpet like I did here to make that carpet affect those areas here and that are going to be worn out by objects. Why not do that? Why not just throw objects onto the gun and make that decide where the object is going to be worn out. No one did that, and I'm not really sure why. Well, maybe programmers just didn't think about it, I guess. But that's the right way to do it. Now, of course, that doesn't give that artistic design, but it's much faster, and according to, well, simulation, it's much more realistic. So of course this is just me throwing in an example. Yeah, what I did, of course, was I have the object. I got the gun object, and I got the carpet object. And the carpet object is, of course, unseen by camera. The carpet is illuminated. Let's just turn off that illumination. VPR kind of like bugs when I do this, so I need to kind of like hack it. Is it carpet? Where did the carpet go? Oh, I'm at the wrong layer. That's that one. This one. Oh yeah, it's because I set the scene to have no lights. That's why you can't see much. Makes sense. Because when you bake it, you should set that scene to have no lights. That's why. Don't mind me clicking this. This is just my VPR bugged. So yeah, that's the carpet falling onto the gun. I used ClothFX here, so you can see that in this area it kind of like screws up, but it doesn't really matter. In fact, in this case, it created an unexpected benefit. Sort of, not quite, but you saw how the gun rendered in that area. So when I set that to 100 and set it to be unseen by camera, you can see that I got that stuff. Again, it looks a bit funky here, but that's because the light, where is it? The light is on. There should be no lights in the scene. Because we're going to bake it. We're going to bake that illuminated blanket carpet onto that gun. But yeah, so you can see how that works. Objects, nothing special as far as the ClothFX settings go. Set this to 50 to calculate it a bit faster, and it was a tricky gun object, so ClothFX is kind of like doing this and that, so I set it to be offset by 50 millimeter from the surface of the gun to help it calculate slightly better. Nothing all that special with the collision either. I guess I should have used bullet, or maybe I should have used bullet. The thing is, bullet is more rubbery, like I've said before, and so if you want to do this kind of stuff, then you should put your money on ClothFX if you want to. But and as for this area and stuff, I'm guessing bullet should be quite good. Also, you could check out Cyflex, see how that works with a very detailed mesh. But yeah, so that's how I made that carpet affect those areas here. And what you can do now is you can bake it out. I haven't really tested baking all that much, but what you do is basically take the surface baking camera and you take the object and the UV of the gun, and that's pretty much it. And you bake it out, so well, this is usually 45, and then you just hit F9, render it, renders like that. So I need to look more into that, how I'm gonna find the best settings for baking out these details. Anyway, that's the idea. This is not the best UV map gun in a way. It's kind of like split. So these objects should really have, these four guys should have been one UV. It would have been better, I think. But anyway. You should certainly consider using interpolated when rendering this, but let's just hit F9 without. See how that works. 2000 rays, that didn't work very well. Not on this computer. An old computer though, so you should be able to render this much faster. This is a 7-year-old i7 2700K or something like that. You might be better off rendering this using Monte Carlo actually. And don't use anti-aliasing when rendering it. when baking, don't use anti-aliasing unless you have a good reason. Well, a good reason. Okay, so yeah, here we go. Well, it looks like that interpolated render didn't work all that great. You can see that the interpolated one didn't include that stuff, so maybe we need to stick to Monte Carlo. Anyway, I'm not really finished testing this, so just throwing out ideas and also questioning the industry why they haven't done something similar to this. Of course, you could also use that carpet and add the strings to that object so that you can make it have scratches and streaks in certain areas, and it should be very realistic. The other thing, of course, is that you don't need to, well, you don't need to paint the object. You can just basically throw it in a simulation and just click render and bake, and done. I know it's fun to use Substance Painter and particle brush, but if you want to be efficient, then something like this could very well be an idea if you have to do this to 1,000 objects or so.